Chapter 3, For Myself. And wow, what an opening shot! Yuji is kneeling alone at a gravestone. The Itadori family grave. No dialogue, no action. Just a boy in his grief.
Oof. Right in the heart from page 1. After everything that happened with his grandfather, he's already back to say goodbye properly.
The title For Myself hits different when you see this image. This whole chapter is going to be about why Yuji fights. And it starts here, at this grave.
The backpack detail really gets me. He's literally packed up and ready to go, but he had to stop here first. That's such a human thing to do.
And we cut to our first look at Tokyo Prefectural Jiu-Jitsu High School. Hidden in the mountains, disguised as a private religious school. Only 2 of these facilities exist in the entire country.
Yuji's reaction is priceless. Is this really Tokyo? It's in the mountains. Same, Yuji. Same.
Meanwhile, Gojo drops the bombshell that Yuji has an interview with the principal, and if he messes it up, he might get rejected and executed. No pressure, kid.
Wait, rejected for admission or rejected from living? Those are very different things. And Fushiguro is just knocked out in the background getting jujitsu treatment, completely unbothered.
Classic Fushiguro energy. The world could be ending and he'd still be napping with perfect posture. Now here is where it gets spicy. Yuji snaps up with this intense look and delivers the line, "A hierarchy not based purely on strength is boring, if you ask me." That's not Yuji talking.
Sukuna is surfacing. You can literally see the shift in his eyes, that smug, predatory look. That is not the same sweet kid who was crying at a grave 2 pages ago.
And Gojo just leans in fascinated, saying, "What an interesting body you have now." While Yuji desperately apologizes, "Sorry sensei," he comes out sometimes, slap. Sukuna slaps Gojo.
He slapped the strongest sorcerer alive. Sukuna really said, "I owe you a debt," and chose violence as the currency. Absolute menace behavior.
And then from inside, Sukuna's threat rumbles out, "When I make this kid's body mine, you'll be the first one I kill." The King of Curses does not make empty promises. Gojo gives us the full Sukuna lore drop here. Ryamon Sukuna, 4 arms, 2 faces, a demon of legend. But here's the twist, he was actually a real human who lived over 1,000 years ago.
Wait, he was human? That makes him so much scarier somehow. Like, he didn't start as a monster, he became one. Or maybe he was always one wearing a human suit.
And even death couldn't stop him. His remains became a cursed object, his fingers and the greatest jujitsu sorcerers of the Golden Age fought him and still lost. They couldn't even destroy his corpse.
Yuji's face when he realizes so he really is famous while getting whacked. He's inside his own body watching a legend give him a history lesson through violence. That's a rough Tuesday.
Gojo and Yuji say it together, he is the King of Curses. Without a doubt. And that giant panel of Sukuna's monstrous form drives it home. This is what's living inside Yuji. Yuji asks the question everyone's been thinking, is Sukuna stronger than you, Gojo-sensei? And Gojo hedges, saying if Sukuna fully regained his power, it might be a little tough.
A little tough? Sir, you just described the undefeatable King of Curses and said it would be a little tough. The audacity of this man is genuinely astronomical.
And then Gojo gets one whole panel to himself, profile shot, cool as ice, and just says, "Nah. I'd win." No elaboration. No explanation. Just facts.
I love him. I hate him. He is the most insufferable confident person in manga history and I would follow him into battle immediately.
Then they arrive and someone shouts, "Satoru! You're late." And Yuji gets grabbed and shaken by the neck for being 8 minutes late. Welcome to Jujutsu High, kid. The principal of Jujutsu High, Masamichi Yaga, enters with the most intimidating aura possible, Doom written in giant letters, and he is surrounded by adorable stuffed animals and dolls.
I'm sorry, what? This man looks like he could bench press a building and he's sitting cross-legged making cute little plushies? The cognitive dissonance is incredible.
Gojo's defense is perfect. "I figured you'd be making dolls anyway, so 8 minutes is no big deal." Yaga says it's not enough to get mad about, but his face says otherwise.
And Yuji, bless his pure soul, is absolutely sparkling, thinking this old dude is making cute stuff. Meanwhile the principal is deciding whether he lives or dies. Priorities, Yuji.
Yaga looks up from his work with those cold eyes and asks simply, so that's the kid? The interview is about to begin. The vibe shifted real fast. The interview kicks off and Yuji, bowing deeply, introduces himself with full sincerity name, that he likes girls like Jennifer Lawrence, and Yaga just stares at him with dead eyes.
He included his celebrity crush in his formal interview introduction. At a school where the wrong answer means execution. Yuji Itadori, you chaotic wonderful disaster of a protagonist.
Yaga cuts through the nonsense, why are you here? Yuji says to learn jujitsu. Yaga pushes deeper, beyond that. And then Yuji reveals his true goal, to collect all of Sukuna's remaining fingers.
He's not just trying to survive, he wants to actively hunt down the most dangerous cursed objects in existence. And his reasoning? It's dangerous to leave them as is. So responsible. So reckless.
But Yaga narrows his eyes and asks the real question, what happens after? After you learn about curses and exorcism. Why? And Yuji just stares back. One word, why? Yaga presses hard, are you saying you can't accept people dying from curses when people die every day from accidents and disease anyway? Gojo chimes in, there he goes again.
Gojo sounds almost fond when he says that, like he's already heard this speech and knows exactly what's coming. He's seen this kid's heart before the kid even knows what to do with it.
And Yuji answers from somewhere deep and real, I'm not concerned with the details. I just want to help people. And then the gut punch, that was a last request someone made to me.
His grandfather. We're back to page 1 of this chapter without even showing it. The grave, the kneeling, the backpack, it all comes full circle right here. I need a moment.
Yaga's chair creaks, krik, as he leans forward, and the door blows open dramatically. He asks, so you're gonna fight curses because someone else asked you to? The answer to that question might decide everything. Alright, we open with a serious power move. Ichichi just drops the word disqualified while this massive cursed corpse looms beside him. The energy in this panel is pure doom.
Wait, that thing next to him is not a doll. That's enormous. Look at those teeth.
And Itadori's reaction says it all, that's not a doll? Bro is genuinely shook. Then Ichichi casually goes, this is a cursed corpse. Her name is Kathy, by the way.
Her name is Kathy? He named the terrifying cursed bear monster Kathy? I can't, this teacher is something else entirely.
Kathy lands a devastating hit, thunk, and Itadori is genuinely staggered. He's thinking, what a heavy hit, is it really a doll, while getting absolutely rocked.
The sound effects alone on this page are doing so much work. Thunk, wham, you can practically feel those hits through the page.
And then Ichichi delivers one of those cold, calculated villain speeches, people are more honest with their backs against the wall. Until I get a worthy answer, she'll keep attacking.
Okay, but Itadori screaming, it's my grandpa's last request, while getting flung across the room is both heartbreaking and hilarious. Terrible timing, great passion.
This page is pure punishment. Boink, 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 Kathy is literally bouncing Itadori around the room like a ragdoll. Then krak blood splatters. It gets real fast.
The boink sound effect for a cursed spirit attack is sending me. It sounds like a cartoon, but the result is absolutely not cartoon violence, he's bleeding.
And then Ichichi goes, even a family member is someone else, right? Twisting the knife while Itadori eats a donk to the head. Cold. Absolutely cold.
He's simultaneously philosophizing and watching a teenager get beaten up. This man has zero chill and I respect it deeply.
Here's where the chapter shifts gears. Ichichi starts laying out the philosophy of jujitsu sorcery. Jujitsu sorcerers are always close to death. Heavy stuff.
And meanwhile Kathy is just vibing in the background going shaka shaka hey yo yo. I cannot stress enough how unhinged this contrast is.
Ichichi calls it an unpleasant job, says you have to be motivated and a bit crazy, then asks if Itadori only wants to do it because someone else asked him to. Don't make me laugh.
And Itadori just explodes, shut up. He can't even finish the sentence. The frustration is so real. But then Ichichi cuts even deeper.
Ichichi gets right up in Itadori's face with the most uncomfortable question, is it gonna be your grandfather's fault when you get killed by a curse? That close-up panel is brutal.
Oh, that hit. You can see it land on Itadori's face. Those narrowed eyes, he's not angry anymore, he's actually thinking.
And then Ajichi pulls back slightly and says education includes helping students make realizations, which is actually a legitimately good teacher moment wrapped in psychological warfare.
Itadori just goes, I'm not. And trails off. He can't even finish defending himself. That quiet moment after all that chaos hits so differently.
Ajichi drops the heaviest line yet, no jujitsu sorcerer dies without regret. And we get this haunting skull imagery alongside it. The weight of this profession is real.
That skull panel is gorgeous and terrifying at the same time. Gidge really knows how to make you feel the mortality in this world.
Then Kathy launches another attack, WAK, and Ajichi keeps pressing, why are you here? With the way things are going, you might even curse your beloved grandfather.
He's asking Itadori to confront the darkest version of his own future. That's not just a test, that's psychological demolition. And it's working.
And now we get Itadori's internal monologue, the real answer forming in real time. He acknowledges he's always been good at sports and fighting, but he never thought that made him special.
Oh, this is the moment. You can feel him arriving at something genuine. He's not just reacting anymore, he's actually figuring out who he is.
He grapples with Kathy, literally bear-hugging the cursed corpse, while his thoughts clarify, consuming Sukuna is something only he can do. Even if he could run from execution or the mission.
He chooses to stay. Not because someone told him to. Because he decided. That's the difference Ajichi was pushing him toward this whole time.
The final page is Itadori's full declaration of self. He admits he'll get depressed knowing people might die because of Sukuna inside him eating, bathing, reading manga, it'll always be there.
The fact that he specifically mentions reading manga while carrying that guilt is such a humanizing detail. This kid feels everything so deeply.
But then I can't say what I'll be thinking when I die, but I'm not gonna regret the way I live. That final panel is just Itadori's face, raw and determined. Chills.
And the quiet no thanks from Ajichi's side before that, like he's almost satisfied. He got the answer he was looking for. That's the worthy response he wanted all along.
Chapter 3 ends on Itadori choosing his life on his own terms. Not for his grandpa, not to delay execution, but because this is who Yuji Itadori is. What a chapter. Alright, we're kicking off page 1 at Jujutsu High. The principal has just told Gojo to show Yuji to his dorm and someone's sitting on the floor looking completely lost.
That someone being Yuji, who just got punched mid-introduction. The big guy just bonked him mid-nice to me, and I felt that.
And his excuse? Oops, sorry, I forgot to stop the incantation. Sir, you were literally chanting a spell at a new student.
Welcome to Jujutsu High, here's a fist to the face, you pass. Best orientation ever, honestly.
Page 2 Gojo shows Yuji to his dorm room, and Yuji's first reaction is pure joy. Whoa, it's huge. Kid just got accepted into a secret sorcerer school and he's hyped about the room size.
Priorities. I mean, same though. A big room? That's a win no matter what dimension you're in.
Then Gojo drops the bomb, the second and third years are out on missions, so there aren't many students. And then, he suggests Yuji just stay behind while he and Fushiguro collect Sukuna's fingers.
Oh wow, he said it so casually too. You don't need to fight, you know. Like he's offering to pick up groceries without him.
Page 3, and Yuji is not having it. He shuts Gojo down immediately. I said I'd do it, didn't I? Don't make me think twice about it. That's our boy.
Yes. That's the energy. He just swallowed a cursed finger and got punched in the face and he's still committed. Respect.
And then Gojo just grins and goes, to be honest, there's no way you're not fighting. Turns out the whole you don't have to fight thing was basically a test to see if Yuji would bail.
Gojo, you absolute menace. He was trolling him the whole time. That head panel with the big grin says everything.
He also explains the fingers, some have overwhelming presence, some keep quiet, and some have already been consumed by cursed spirits. Yuji's basically a living GPS for all of them. Page 4 gets more serious. Gojo explains that the Sukuna inside Yuji will guide him toward the fingers, he's a vessel and a radar. Yuji's processing all this with that classic blank stare.
Can you blame him? Hey, the ancient demon curse inside you is also a built-in navigation system, congrats. That's a lot to absorb on day one.
Gojo admits straight up it's gonna be a pain finding them. But then he holds up a finger and says, but now we have you. It's equal parts reassuring and ominous.
And Yuji quietly says he doesn't think Sukuna is gonna cooperate nicely, which, yeah, fair concern when the guy inside you literally tried to take over your body.
Page 5. Yuji peeks into the hallway and finds out Gojo is literally living next door. And then Fushiguro shows up looking much better than when we last saw him.
Yuji immediately goes, you finally look better. So wholesome. He's genuinely happy to see Fushiguro recovered. These two already have such good chemistry.
Gojo's reasoning for rooming them all together? I thought it'd be more lively and fun this way. Fushiguro's response is just, what a pain.
Fushiguro is all of us when our teacher assigns group work. But Gojo just says, think positively, like the chaotic professor he is.
And then the big announcement, they're going out tomorrow to recruit the third first-year student. The team is about to get bigger. Page 6. Scene shift. We cut to Morioka Station, bullet train departures in the background. Someone is heading to Tokyo, saying goodbye to the countryside.
And she's already got big personality energy just from her internal monologue, time to finally say goodbye to the sticks. Girl is ready to leave her hometown in the dust.
And then the most iconic first thought as she arrives, what should I do if I get scouted by a talent agent? She's literally wondering about becoming an idol on her way to sorcerer school.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nobara Kujisaki has entered the chat, and she is already my favorite character. The confidence. The priorities. She's a legend and she just got here.
Page 7 is our character profile page. We get the official stats on Megumi Fushiguro. 175 centimeters tall, slightly taller than Yuji who's still growing. Reads nonfiction for fun.
Of course he reads nonfiction. He probably has a 5-year plan and color-coded study notes. Meanwhile Yuji is out here eating cursed fingers on impulse.
He also knew Gojo before entering Jujutsu High, likes food that pairs well with ginger, and hates red bell peppers. Very specific. Very Fushiguro.
And the author's personal note at the bottom, hairstyle is erratic. Even the mangaka can't explain it. It just does what it wants and honestly, same energy as Fushiguro himself.